you doing, good people? This is the 8-Bit Animal, and today we're gonna talk about a movie license, because of course we are. Most of the games, the spooky season games, most of the horror stuff was a movie tie-in. For better or for worse, because a lot of these games are dreadful. This one starts out as okay and then kind of veers into dreadful, but this version isn't as bad as some of the others. It's from 1992, I want to say 93 actually. The film came out in 1992, and it's another instance where how did this get an NES license? But it's weird how movie tie-ins, how they get the love that they get. Very, very weird. But today, we're going to take a quick look at Bram Stoker's Dracula. Alright, in this game, you play as Jonathan Harker, the protagonist from the book, yeah. And Harker as an interesting occupation for somebody who's about to fight vampires. Harker is a real estate solicitor. He's a real estate agent, bruh. He got hired by Dracula to help him find a house in London. And then he pulls up and some weird stuff is going down. He tell Dracula he ain't trying to rock with him no more. And Dracula is like, oh no, little daddy. You gonna do this or you gonna die. And then Harker's like, what's happening there? And yeah, there goes the struggle between Harker and Dracula. But yeah, this game, it starts out okay, but then the enemies start jump scaring the hell out of you. The music goes from sounding normal to sounding like a jumbled mess of bleeps and bloops to just the weird ammunition setup with the weapons to the fact that the only non-projectile weapon you have is absolutely terrible. A lot is wrong with Bram Stoker's Dracula, right? But it could be worse. This version could play like the Sega CD version, which is one of the more unfortunate beat 'em ups I've ever seen. Or it could play like the MS-DOS version of Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was like some kind of weird proto first-person shooter. None of that makes sense to me. I'm pretty sure it doesn't make sense to you. And yeah, this just ain't it's not a great video game. Not a particularly great video game, but it's better than a lot of the stuff that we talked about this year, and better than a lot of stuff that we saw in video stores and that we saw in Nintendo Power and all that. This could have been a lot worse. But thankfully it's just bad for what it is. I mean, Sony Imagesoft was spotty at best also with some of the stuff they published. But at least they gave me Sky Blazer before them and Nintendo got into that beef. Yeah. Now, if you decide you want yourself a copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula, the NES version is like $70 base price, something like that. Somewhere between $60 and $70 for a loose cart. Other versions of the game are a lot cheaper. Like the Super Nintendo version, you can get for probably about $10, maybe $15. But yeah, this is some strong mediocrity. I don't know if the music in the 16-bit versions is better than the music in the 8-bit version. I do know that the controls are just as bad. Controls are just as jank, as weird. All the weird jump scares from enemies, just as weird. What you gonna do, huh? What you gonna do? I know what I would do. I would not play this. There is a much better trilogy of video games out there that star Dracula as an antagonist. Yeah, go play Castlevania, bro. It's much better. But this has been the 8-Bit Animal, and I'll catch you beautiful people tomorrow. Tomorrow. Behold, this is Goonies 2 if you bought it from Dollar Tree.